Hey guys, so I thought I'd make a quick video on my motocamping setup. I know I mentioned in a previous video that I like to take my bike out on some long rides, multi-day rides. And I usually like to camp and not get a hotel if I can, just because I kind of like being out there. If you like camping, you kind of understand what I mean. So this will be all the gear that I use. This will include everything that I would take with me other than toiletries and clothes. You guys can obviously determine on your own what clothes you need. That's going to depend on how many days you're going, what you think the weather is going to be like. And I also don't think anyone really cares what shirts I have or what brand of toothbrush I use. So without further ado, the first thing in my setup is this bag. This is a duffel bag, a roll top duffel bag by the Friendly Swede. I bought this on Amazon, a few years ago. And this will house all of my gear except my tent. It's really nice because it's roll top design, everything fits inside of it, it's waterproof, so I can just throw it on the bike and heaven forbid if it were to rain or anything like that, this is going to be fine. I can also leave it on the ground outside of my tent as long as there's no food in it. I don't have to worry about things getting into it, I don't have to worry about moisture getting into it, so this is really great. And it's basically a one bag setup for me, so I like to just only take what fits in here, but I will say that this is probably more gear than even I need, but it keeps me very comfortable. So this is the bag. First thing that goes in is my sleeping bag. Nothing fancy. This is a Cabela's, 45-degree bag. It packs down relatively small. It's not particularly warm. I usually don't even use it as a sleeping bag. I use it more like a quilt. So eventually I'll get around to replacing it, but for now this is what I use. And it's fine. Next thing, because it's rigid and bulky, is a camp chair. It's small. This is a little heavy. If you're a backpacker, this isn't something you would want. But as long as you're on a motorcycle, you don't have to worry about weight. You worry about size. And this is small. It's just like every other, camp chair you've seen on Amazon. It's like 20 bucks. It's the tent pole design where it just collapses on bungee cord. But it's plenty strong enough to hold me. I'm about 175 pounds. And it's great when you're out after a long ride. You want to be able to sit down. If you stop at a beach or something, you want to be able to sit down. And I've had some great nights on the edge of Lake Superior, watching a sunset, having a meal, sitting in this chair. So that's next in. And as you can see, those two items kind of fill out the base of this bag pretty well. Next is a pillow. A lot of people will camp without them. Me, I really want one. There are plenty of camp pillows out there, and I have a couple, but this is what I use and what I think is the most comfortable. And this is just a MyPillow brand travel pillow. It's really very comfortable. Whatever you think about the company or the guy who runs it. It packs down relatively small, it's compressible, and really it's the most comfortable small pillow. I'll take this on a plane, I'll take this camping. I take it, sometimes I'll even take it to like my parents' cottage because I like it better than the pillows that are up there, and I don't want to take my at-home pillows with me. Next is this. This is a half cover for my motorcycle. When you're out camping, you're parking under trees. You may get caught in the rain, so the bike will get covered in pollen. You'll get covered in bird poop. If it's raining, you don't want everything getting wet. So this is a half cover. Packs down super small. It's cheap. Again, Amazon, 20 bucks or 25 bucks. And what's great is that because it's only the top half of the bike, you don't have to wait for anything to cool down, right? With my full-size covers or dust covers, if the exhaust is hot, they'll melt. It'll burn right through them. With this, you just throw it on. It stays above the exhaust pipes, so you don't have to worry about that, but it'll still keep everything covered for the most part. Anything that's falling vertically, it would be protected from. So rain, again, pollen is a great example because you're going to encounter that in every campsite that you have. So half cover is great. It takes up very little space, very little weight, and so I take that everywhere with me now. Next up would be my, cooking mess kit, which is really pretty simple. This is probably the most noteworthy. It's a BioLite. It's the first version. They've had, I think, a couple versions since then. And it's essentially just a wood-burning camp stove. but it has a battery and a fan to keep it going. So this is the battery and the fan. Put it in there. As you'll see, this is relatively large. You know, if you're a backpacker or something, you want to do this, and I might switch to like a pocket rocket stove at some point too, just because this takes up more space. But you know, put a fire starter in there, you know, and maybe a little bit of fuel, light it, turn the fan on, you can kind of hear that, and that'll blow fresh air into the fire so it gets very hot. It has multiple speeds, so you can do a simmer or a boil. It boils water really very fast, and it'll burn almost anything, even damp wood when it gets going. So this is great. I've cooked multiple meals on it. It's incredibly reliable. It's just a little bit big and a little bit heavy. So if you care about that, you might want to go with something else. But for me, this is great. Always too, as a pro tip, is I put it in its bag upside down, because no matter how hard you try, you're not going to get all the ash out of it. So that kind of helps keep it contained so that it's not spilling all over your things inside your bag, which is a bummer. I've done it. And then nothing interesting here. You know, a little steel cup, fill it with water, bring it to a boil, pour it into your freeze-dried meal. You know, I think it's Mountain Top meals or Mountain something meals. You probably know what I'm talking about. They're great. They have beef stroganoff, you know, chili mac and cheese, anything you can think of, you know, various creamy pastas, and they're delicious. So I wouldn't want to eat it every day and for every meal, but on a road trip at the end of the night, just to kind of put something in your belly, they're great. They're more than I could ask for. So that's that. These are just some microfiber towels by Wise Owl Outfitters. Again, bought these on Amazon. And these are great because they're small, they're very absorbent, and they dry very fast. So if you're out and you are maybe going to remote campsites, you're not going to have access to a shower, you jump in a lake, you know, Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, you know, if you're me and you're traveling through the UP, and you can kind of wash off really quick, dry yourself, and these will dry off very quickly. Sometimes I'll just mount them on the outside of my bag. You're driving, and you know, no more than 10 minutes, and these things are perfectly dry and ready to use again. So that's really nice and convenient. I guess I'll show you my tent next. This is a lay flat hammock tent by Haven, and I think this is a pretty incredible thing. You know, I'll show you in a video sort of how it sets up, but this side here comes in two parts, and they strap together in this package. And the orange part is a sleeping pad and like some accessories that I have stuffed in there. It's insulated, it's thick, it's very comfortable, it's 2 feet wide, so it's 24 by 78, and it's 4 inches thick. And it kind of gives the hammock tent, because it's lay flat, some rigidity. This is probably the most comfortable tent I've used. I think that, you know, most people can attest to the fact that when you're camping, you're just not getting a good night's sleep. You know, it's more about the adventure, you know, the destination, the trip, than it is really about, you know, kind of getting a good night's sleep. And Haven's motto is, I think it's, you know, making sleep the highlight of camping, which is really kind of true. You know, I slept better in this for 4 nights than I do in my bed at home. It's so comfortable. You get a nice kind of breeze coming through. You might be swaying a little bit, but I'm a stomach sleeper, and I still found this to be incredibly comfortable, because in a normal hammock, you know, you're kind of taking that banana shape. There's no way for a stomach sleeper to do that, not without, you know, severely hurting your lower back. So this is awesome. Shout out to Haven Tents. I'm sure they'll never see this, but if they do, they should know that I absolutely love this thing. So this mounts on the outside of my bag. And so I guess another thing to mention is if it rains, this is waterproof, this isn't. So this happened to me on my last camping trip. I had to pull over to like a motel while a heavy storm came through, and there was no, you know, carport or anything to put my motorcycle under. So pulled over, threw the half cover on the motorcycle, took my bag off just to you know, make more room under the cover, and then I took this. I could have just put it underneath the cover, but I just put it in a garbage bag. You know, they're easy to pack, so I'll just take a couple household garbage bags with me, and then I just put, you know, my clothes bag, the tent, put them in the garbage bag, and then stuff that, you know, kind of alongside the bike, and it stayed perfectly dry. So that's kind of my wet weather solution. In terms of securing everything to the bike, I use rock straps. If you're not familiar, these are great. It's basically the same concept as just like a soft ended bungee, but as you'll see, you have a heavy duty bungee on one part or one side, and the other side is just a nylon strap. So you put this on, they come in packs of 2, strap the bag down, and as you're riding and the air's coming out of your bag and it's compressing, normally your straps would get a little bit loose, or if it's a bungee, the bungee would kind of start wearing out. So as the bag compresses and the nylon strap would sort of lose tension, you have this bungee strap that's filling out that tension, keeping constant pressure on it. So these work great. They don't scratch anything. They go on super easy. They take up next to no space when you're not using them. And if you'd like, I can make another short video on how to set it up on my bike, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You pop the seat off, strap these to the frame. They go on the outside of the seat, over top my bag, and everything is secure. Nothing moves. I don't worry about it at all. I mean, it's really awesome. Little things, I keep a black diamond headlamp. If you get to a campsite late at night, you don't want to set things up in the dark. You don't want to be holding your phone or holding a flashlight. Do this, or you can even read a book, in your tent. So this is great, and I'll even throw it on the top line of my hammock and use it as kind of a night light or whatever. This is next. I think I got this at Walmart. It's a pocket mat. It's probably about the size of this table. Folds down super easy. I throw it on the ground underneath my tent. That way, when I come out of the tent in the middle of the night, maybe to use the bathroom, I have something to stand on. The functional equivalent of a welcome mat. Really not too complicated. Extra batteries. I keep them taped up so they don't discharge and go dead. Those are for the headlamp or anything else that requires batteries. Tenacious tape, if you don't know what this is, inexpensive little tape that adheres to like nylon and ripstop and vinyl, things like that. So I have a small hole in my sleeping bag. You throw in these little patches on there, and it'll stick, unlike a lot of other tapes, and they're water resistant and UV resistant and everything. So those are great to have, take up no room. I keep several of these bug defender wipes. They're going to work most applications. Heavy, wooded areas with a lot of mosquitoes or black flies, you're going to want DEET. But in terms of just something to have, something that works relatively well, have those. And then this actually I would really recommend. It's called AquaSeal. And it's basically a rubber cement that is UV activated. So I got a small hole in the bug net on my Haven tent. And it was no big deal, but I didn't want mosquitoes and things getting in. And so you basically put this on it like a rubber cement. It's very thick, pliable, waterproof. You put it all over the hole in a shadow or not in direct sunlight. And then as soon as you take it into the sun, it activates and dries in what seems like maybe 10 seconds. And that's worked great. Again, it's waterproof. It is flexible, so you can use it on tents or on mesh or anything like that. Would highly recommend. Again, it's called AquaSeal. And then one thing that I think I forgot, let me see here for a second, is I use an inflator. Here it is. And this is by Flextail Gear. These are really popular. And I use this to inflate my sleeping pad. It's really small, has a hook on it if you want to hang it from the top of your tent. You can inflate these by hand using the inflator bag, but it takes some time and a little bit of effort, and this fills it in like 15 or 20 seconds. And it's also an external battery that you can use to charge your phone if you need to, and it has a nice light, so when you're hanging it from your tent, you have something to be able to see with. I think this was $40 on Amazon. They make a cheaper $20 version, but it won't have the light, and I don't believe it can be used as an external battery. And so this one I like. Keep it charged when I'm riding. Usually I have a battery tender USB adapter for the bike. And so while I'm driving, I'll keep small electronics charged. I'll keep this charged when I need to. But over the course of a 4-day camping trip, I think I charged this one time. So filling the sleeping pad 4 times, using it as a light, plugging in my phone from time to time. And that worked great. So this all packs down like that. Roll the top, give it a little pressure, snap it down, and you're done. And this will mount on my motorcycle right here. This will mount right here, and then I will put a mesh cargo net over the top, just because, you know, maybe you have a pair of gloves or things that you want to be able to access really quickly. You know, a hat, something. I'll put those on the outside, but really comfortable, plenty of room on that seat for me, and I could go any number of days with this exact setup. Don't let your gear and things kind of keep you from going out and having an adventure. You'll find out pretty quickly what is necessary, what is luxury, and the only way to know is to kind of do it yourself. So this is my setup. You could copy this exactly and be just fine, but what works for me might not work for you. So in any event, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.